So, Epic Games just laid off an employee that has terminal brain cancer. Yeah, dude, apparently all of his medical benefits just got Thanos snapped along with his career. And this wasn't just any old single guy living it up in his bachelor pad either. Like, this guy has an entire family depending on him to bring home the bread. And not only are they risking losing a vital source of their income, the chances of losing a father and husband just increase significantly. Developers and other employees are walking around with the surprised Pikachu face lately because they're slowly realizing that these companies just don't care about them. Publishers like Epic Games only care about the bottom dollar, and 1,000 employees are finding out the hard way after getting laid off. Fortnite is tracking around 1 million concurrent players on all platforms, according to multiple tracking websites, and you're telling me that this game is losing so much money right now that you have to lay off employees? Because, yeah, Epic Games' CEO Tim Sweeney comes out here and says that they're, quote, spending significantly more than we're making, and basically raises the price of V-Bucks just to pay the bills. It literally took the entire internet dragging Epic Games and tagging Tim Sweeney on Twitter before he finally caved and said Epic is in contact with the family and will solve the insurance for them. They only cared when it became a PR nightmare, because God forbid that the Fortnite money printer gets some bad press. And even then, Sweeney saying we'll solve the insurance for them just feels so weird and calculated, like, oh, you'll solve it for one guy who went viral on Twitter, but what about the other 999 employees you just dumped onto the street? Do they get their problem solved too, or do they just get an Epic Games logo on their resume and a pat on the back? It just reeks of desperation from a company that wants to look like the good guys while actively ruining others' lives. I think it's pretty ironic, really, all these companies out here trying to hit the live service jackpot, nickel and diming gamers for character skins and emotes, developers working day and night for years hoping their game becomes the next Fortnite, and even when they actually succeed, they still get laid off. Remember when DICE and EA said Battlefield 6 was the best-selling game of 2025? It even beat Call of Duty Black Ops 7, dude, which was every Battlefield fan's wet dream. And then the developers still got laid off less than 6 months later. Like, seriously, dude? The Epic Games guy with brain cancer had to have his wife go on social media and blast the company before they even considered working with the guy to get things settled. I want to hammer in that Battlefield 6 sold a record-shattering 7 million copies in just 3 days. It was the best-selling game in the US in 2025. It completely mopped the floor with Black Ops 7 in player engagement and sales. The craziest part is that Battlefield 6 actually delivered what gamers were begging for. People were exhausted by Call of Duty being painful reskins of the last game for $70, and they had the nerve to go back to futuristic settings and push out a terrible campaign mode. It was all the ammunition Battlefield needed to come out on top, and I don't think you understand just how shook Call of Duty was. They removed skill-based matchmaking and disbanding lobbies. These were the predatory features that they implemented to help them push microtransactions in the first place, and Activision was so desperate that they reversed them in Black Ops 7 because Battlefield 6 was dominating them so badly. And what was EA's reward to the developers at DICE, Criterion, and, well, other studios? A number of them got shoved right out the door in massive layoffs. An EA spokesperson literally said that it was to, quote, better align our teams around what matters most to our community. Like, really? Firing the people who made the most successful game in your franchise's history is what matters most to the community? It's just corporate slop speak for, we want our profit margins to look even fatter for our investors. Because, as always, it's like poetry. It rhymes. They hype up a game, milk gamers, and fire the talent and move on to the next one. You can literally do everything right, make the best game of the year, shatter records, and still end up on the unemployment line. Like, what kind of message does that send to the industry? Hey guys, go ahead and crunch hours for 4 years, miss your kids' birthdays, and make a banger that wins Shaq News' best PC game of 2025. And and I don't even know who they are. But hey, make sure you pack your desk also into a nice cardboard box on Tuesday. It's complete nonsense. And if they'll do all these things to their employees, how do you think they feel about their actual customers? You know, the people who are supposed to be buying their products in the first place. They actually don't think much of us at all besides being money cows that they can milk and exploit, because you see every PlayStation fan in the galaxy in an uproar over Sony's decision to move to a more live service format instead of the single player blockbuster experiences that got them this far. Yeah, we're not getting a third Horizon game just yet. No. We've got their A-team working on a cotton candy flavored Horizon Hunters Gathering game. Like, dude, you could have just made this a side mode, but Sony is so driven by greed to chase the live service dragon that they'll put all their resources on a game like this. And where has that gotten them? Honestly. Well, Concord died in literally 2 weeks and flushed $200 million down the toilet. Bungie got purchased for almost $4 billion, and their first game since is bleeding player numbers with each passing week. So I wonder when they'll pull the plug on this one next. Especially when you look at how Arc Raiders completely bodied the extraction shooter scene. And there's a twisted sense of satisfaction I get from seeing Sony faltering and chasing these live service trends. I mean, I'm a huge PlayStation fan, or at least I was back during the PS3 and PS4 era, and I can only hope that each failure just leads them closer and closer to actually giving us what we really want all along. A standalone Abby's Bikini Adventure game. I mean, Bloodborne ported to modern systems. Yeah, that's what I meant. But anyway, the problem is these studios can just decide to yank games off the digital stores and switch them offline on a whim. So you never know if this live service game or that one is even worth putting time into. And God help you if you decide to put money into the microtransactions. Meanwhile, I don't have to worry about Slay the Spire 2 going offline because of low player numbers. I mean, look at this player count, dude. It's not going anywhere. But if it did die one day, I can still boot it up and play it with no worries because it's not an always online live service experience that depends on the servers staying up. Same with Resident Evil Requiem. If zombies are banging on my bedroom door, you can trust I'll still be here aura farming with Leon. But seriously, personally, I'm tired of Leon and kinda wanna play as Chris Redfield again. I mean, at least that guy punches boulders. And we haven't had a Chris game since Resident Evil 5. But hey, the point I'm making is that single player games respect my time and energy as an aging individual with less time to spend. AA games like Claire Obscure, Expedition 33 take actual risk and deliver an amazing story for a fraction of the budget of these live service time sinks, among which would probably reset your progress at the end of each season anyway. I don't have to be forced online to listen to little Timmy screaming into his microphone about his dinosaur McNuggets while his parents fight in the background. And it's exactly why I keep coming back to my single player games or even my Korean dating simulators. Because where else can I get a group of hot female roommates who are all fighting for my attention? But seriously, games like Slay the Spire 2 or Expedition 33 are proving that you don't need $200 million in the predatory live service model to be successful. The developers actually exploit themselves creatively and delivered a gripping experience without hiring a bunch of calculated consultants to ensure that every roll of the dice plays it safe for investors. The AAA gaming crash is in full swing right now, dude, and if a game doesn't respect your time, your wallet, or its own developers, then let it sit in the dumpster. Anyway, dude, this is RageWatch, and if you made it this far, definitely press the subscribe button so you can get more of my cringe gaming videos. I'm out, and thanks for watching.